Of the CattleUSA Daily Podcast. Today we are switching it up this week and bringing you guys a Friday market report with Dan. We scheduling this week was a little crazy and we weren't able to schedule this podcast until Thursday. So you guys are getting a market report on Friday. I am obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you see that we had a little bit of change in location. We don't have a podcast studio behind me. I am actually in Florissant, Colorado for one of my businesses where our retreat is this week and we have a business mastermind retreat. And so I'm hosting a bunch of photographers and entrepreneurs here in Colorado for this business mastermind. And today is the official day one. And I'm spending my morning here with my morning tea and just chilling out in the breakfast nook, talking to you guys and Dan about the markets, what we're seeing right now, the highs, lows, things we need to watch out for, and just have a fun, casual conversation on what Dan and his team are seeing in the markets. So without further ado, I'm going to stop yapping and let's go ahead and get into this convo with Dan. Good morning.
Are you camping in the woods?
I am actually not camping though, in a very luxury cabin in the woods.
Really?
Yes, one of my businesses is we have a photography education business and like creative entrepreneur business, and our business mastermind retreat is this weekend. So we are in the mountains in Colorado right now.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's officially day one. We got in yesterday and just been hanging out, and people started getting here today. So,
Awesome.
oh yeah,
Fun.
great
fun.
start to the morning. Like, I don't know if you can see much. Yeah, you can't see anything other than a couple trees, but it's really pretty out here.
Is it? Yeah. That's the way to wake up. See the mountains, drink coffee.
Oh, 1,000%. And the master suite has like its own private balcony deck. It's like on the top level. And like I had the windows wide open last night, freezing my ass off, rightfully so. Like, oh, it felt so good. But then waking up to the sunrise this morning outside of those big, massive doors and then like stepping out on the balcony. I would love if this vacation house was my actual house. It was
Yeah.
so nice. So nice. They're in a different tax bracket than I am, but you know.
Oh, you'll get there. Put it on a 60-year mortgage and let your kids worry about it.
I love that idea. I actually do. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, you guys want really memorable childhood vacations, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Absolutely.
sorry about it, but you're
Yep.
getting this as a hand-me-down.
There you go. I enjoyed it. Thank you, kids.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
How's
Good.
your weekend? How's Iowa?
Iowa's wet. A lot of rain this week. At
It's a
least
good
where
thing.
I'm at. Haven't been in the field since before Easter, and
Oh, dang.
yeah, it's we'll be all right. It's Iowa. We're used to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We've gotten a ton of rain in Manhattan too. Not quite as much as you guys have gotten and as much as Eastern Kansas has gotten, but still a lot. Still a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, they got pounded. Kansas, Missouri. It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Summer's right around the corner. We'll be begging for rain before you know it.
Exactly. Take it while we can get it, I guess.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Amazing.
Awesome.
How are the markets? What do we want to talk about today?
Cash cattle market is something else. Wow. I've had every reason to sell cattle, I think, for the last 15 days straight. Box is struggling, kills low, and managed money was on a puke fest, but now they're putting longs back on again. I don't know. Last week, cash kind of surprised me. I was expecting a steady cash cattle market. It came in 2, 3, 4 higher, depending on the cattle. And then this week, the call was higher early in the week. Then everybody kind of got to thinking with boxes struggling, and kind of a flat board there. Well, Monday, Tuesday, that maybe we'd see steady cash, and now we're flipping, and I see bids are jumping this week. So cash is king, Lauren. Cash is king. Can't fight a bull market cash led rally. So
Never dog on the cash market.
no.
Not allowed.
When the producers are bullish and holding out for more, and they work they work together, they can force a market higher. I think that's what's going on here. So it'll be interesting as we get through today and then tomorrow to see how many of the packers are actually aggressive. I know a lot of the regionals are short bought and need the inventory. Some of the big boys wrote quite a few contracts here over the last month for the next, May, June, July. So that might keep them from having to be as equally aggressive as the small packers, but either way, if it's something else. I can't wrap my head around it. It really is an interesting market. I mean, the charts are bullish right now. You set some new all-time highs here yesterday in the fat cattle feeders, not quite yet, but they've got a triple top going after an island bottom. So those two indicators are the most bullish formations I usually trade. I've never seen both of them on the exact same chart at all, let alone within a month of trading time. So it's pretty crazy how things look this bullish, even while it still feels like there's a bit of a consumer shift in demand. Not a crazy one. I don't think boxes are a mess, but usually you want to see box beef prices rally going into May growing season, and they've softened here over the last 2 weeks. So maybe we get them down here, upper 320s. We can get the product moved with the cheaper dollar. We've talked about it before. Need to see those exports ramp up. If we can get all of that to happen, we might rally boxes into June. So inevitably, the supply story has not changed. It's still bullish. What's our demand going to look like?
Yeah, 1,000%. How much do you think some of the big packers not re-signing are you talking about those contracts that they had with China that they didn't re-sign, or which ones are you talking about with those? Do you think that they're going to continue to affect the market at all in the coming months or the coming 3 months, or what are your thoughts there?
So I was more speaking to producer contracts on physical fat cattle. Over the last 2 or 3 years, the amount of packer contracted cattle has dropped drastically. Guys were bullish for good reasons. It goes to prove that packer contracts are not good for the industry. I understand there are some people out there that need to use packer contracts. A young kid starting out in the business, he might not have the capital or knowledge to be able to do a futures contract, but an LRP or a put option. If I could change the industry, we wouldn't do packer contracts because we give up leverage when we do it. But over the last 2-3 years, there's been a lot less packer contracts done, and the market's been on this bull run. That's kind of flipped. We saw a big increase here in the month of March on guys. There were some aggressive basis contracts offered out there, so they took a really strong futures market, applied a really strong basis offering from the packers, and married the two together and priced their cattle. So it'll be interesting coming into summer knowing that those increases play that role of taking leverage away from the cattle feeder, putting it back in the packers' hands. They might only have to be aggressive buying cash cattle 1 or 2 weeks a month instead of 3. It's just it changes the industry. So a few more of those written. Yeah, the other side of it, the interesting dynamic is anybody buying physical feeder cattle right now, replacements, those break evens are 205, 210, and there's no great packer contracts, going out to August, you're talking about a 207, 208, October, December, same thing, 203, 204. Those are still good basis offerings if you look at historical, but they don't cover their break even. So I'm hopeful guys are not going to write packer contracts and maybe put a little bit of leverage back in the producer's hand again once we get past this May-June market.
Yeah, 1,000%. Any other highs, lows, things that we're seeing, things that we need to maybe watch out for in the coming weeks, anything like that? Need a ranch hand, livestock manager, or just some good help around the place? Ranchwork.com is the go-to job board for ranching-focused careers. They connect employers like you with folks who live and breathe the ranching lifestyle. With over 1 million visits a year, your job posting is going to reach a massive audience of experienced, hardworking cowboys, ranch hands, and land stewards. all right here in the US. And the best part, the ad rates are super reasonable. So head on over to ranchwork.com and get your job opening in front of the right people today.
I don't think it would hurt to buy a little bit of feed needs right now. The phone calls changed pretty quickly. They were all drought. You know, we're not going to raise a corn crop this year. And now, delayed plantings were too wet. And it's almost every year I hear that. But I don't mind buying July corn here, you know, 480. It seems like, you know, we made a lot of old crop sales, clean stuff up. If you want to get some feed needs bought, you know, to get you out July, August, September, I don't think that's a bad place here at 480. Anybody's guess. I mean, you gapped higher yesterday, put an island bottom in that chart, turned around, actually closed near the open. So not a great look yesterday. Turn around, try to fill the gap today, failed at filling the gap so far and bouncing back higher. I flip a coin, Lauren. I mean, who knows what these indices are going to do? It's anybody's guess. There's still a lot of uncertainty in the market, you know, a lot of unsure. I think traders are on edge right now, but we're witnessing something I haven't seen in a long time where managed money starts puking cattle over that equity drop, and then they turn around 2 weeks later and they're putting them right back on. Normally that takes months to get that bullish feel back in those traders' hands. So yeah,
there's no predicting anything right now. It's pretty much what we're saying.
I could tell you it's going to go up, and 2 seconds later it's down, and then I could tell you, okay, it's going to keep going down, and 2 seconds later it's back up again. It's just, the volatility is extreme, and
yeah.
I look at LRPs and I look at put options right now as a really, really good risk management tool because the futures can burn you pretty quick.
It's a war zone out there right now. It really is. You never know if you're going to catch a stray bullet, and you know, it's kind of just a crapshoot. A little bit. I don't think anyone really knows what's happening, if we're being honest. I think everyone's kind of like, what? What do you mean?
Yep.
None of us saw that coming. Or like, that happened, and that was only like a 5% chance of that happening. But, you know, apparently this is the year for breaking records and doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yep.
So, here we are.
Well, absolutely. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. It's getting Western. So no, like I said, things look healthy right now. As of Thursday, April 24th, they look healthy. They didn't look like that 16 days ago, but they came right back. And you know, how do I put this? We're all riding a really, really extreme roller coaster right now at the amusement park, and I hope, you know, when this thing's over, I hope there's a lot of coverage in place to cover guys, because the higher we go and the more volatile this gets, the worse the downside could be. So I really hope everybody's got their seatbelts on the roller coaster.
Seatbelts on, and it's like we all have our cell phones out recording ourselves right now, and then the roller coaster got stuck upside down, and you got to hold on real tight to that cell phone. Otherwise, you better hope that you purchased that Apple protection plan that's going to get you that new one when you get off.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. It's the Wild West out there, but you know.
It is.
Cheers. We're along for the ride. This is tea in my cup this morning. It's not whiskey. So like, not bad. There's tea bag right there. It's tea.
Okay.
I promise y'all. I promise it's tea. Now, talk to us in a few days, and it could turn. Talk to us in a few hours, and it could turn. Honestly, we never know. We might be getting that whiskey stash out that Dan has behind his desk and cheersing.
Yeah.
Gosh, you never know. It's the Wild West out there, but we're along for the ride. So we're here. We're going to make the most out of it and get your protection in place. That's all we have to say.
Yep. Now, funny story, bringing that up, you know, a lot of people are not enjoying what LRPs are costing right now. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not cheap. But when you look at the price levels we're protecting and actually run it back, you know, it's still that 3% insurance value is what the premium costs. So, you know, back when the market, you know, feeder cattle were at $2, it was 3%. Now we're up at nearly $3 and it's 3%. So, you know, there's a lot more risk in this market right now, so it should cost more. Funny story is I wrote some LRP on some cattle I had here at home, and I wrote the check out last year for it and shipped the cattle here yesterday. And I had regretted buying that LRP probably 2-3 times. I want to say 2-3 times. I was glad I had, covered those cattle. And inevitably, I'm going to lose the premium on the LRP. But then when I looked at the profit on those cattle, like, I'll give up that LRP every day for that kind of return.
Yeah.
I wish I could rinse and repeat all over again, but
every single year. Can we just keep this on a cycle?
Yeah, it would be nice, but I think every cattle producer knows out there that eventually this ride's going to stop. So I don't, just because you didn't claim on it this last round, don't stop using it, because that'll be the one that gets you.
It's that philosophy of you'd rather have it and not need it than not have it and need it, right? Like, you bring it along on the trip with you, and then you don't end up needing the first aid kit. But then the one day you don't bring the first aid kit, your kid falls off a cliff and scrapes his arm open or something like that. Like,
in the spirit of being at the cabin, I would have used gun in the woods with the bear, but I mean, yeah, you can.
We did get a lot of warnings from our Airbnb host that, like, lock your vehicle doors, and if you leave stuff outside, it's your own damn fault, because you will attract bears. So,
wow.
Yeah, we are. I don't know if we're in grizzly or black bear territory here. We're like into the mountains from Colorado Springs. So I don't know what bears are around here. I don't think it's grizzlies. I think it's probably black bears.
Okay. Well, you can pet a black bear.
I might be totally wrong on that.
You'll be all right. Go pet them.
It'll be fine. They're friendly. Yeah. They're cute. Like, they're just really big puppy dogs.
Yeah, just go rub their belly.
They want a little snack. I'm sure he'd give me a nice little, like, leg kick, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Gosh. Nope. It's going to be a good week. It's going to be a good week. But no bears in the woods. Hopefully no having to get guns out for bears in the woods or anything like that. It'll be good. We are in a very remote area, that's for sure, though. Like, no cell service here. So that's actually fun. I'm excited about it. We're in the middle of BFE, but in a good way. So
good. Enjoy.
Unplug, recharge, do all the things. So record a podcast in a beautiful location.
Yep.
I'm not going to complain about that.
Absolutely. Good. Yes. Enjoy.
Absolutely. We will be, for sure. Well, Dan, thank you for your time today, as always, and for the market update, what the highs, lows, all the things are. To all of you listeners out there, make sure you check out our show notes. Go get a hold of our CattleUSA insurance team. We have that link down there where we partner with Logic Ag Marketing, where we can get you guys those LRPs or just discuss what your options are right now in the market. That way you are covered if you need to be, or just get on the phone with someone and they can kind of walk you through what that looks like for you and your operation, just to, have that first aid kit in the back of the vehicle, just in case, because you never know when you're going to need it, especially with this crazy, insane market. And as always, make sure you like, subscribe, rate, review. We always appreciate it here at the team. And if you found this relatable, share it with a friend, share it with a coworker, something like that. We appreciate it. And as always, we will see you all next time on another episode of the CattleUSA Daily Podcast. Have a good one, y'all.